welcome back to Gardenhouseknits. I'm Sherry Balky, and I am the owner of Garden House. It's a tiny stationery company, uh, and I am a yarn addicted gardening artist that pretty much splits my time between those three things. And if I had it my way, I would probably knit or um, make jewelry or do hand stitching all day, every day of my life because I love making so much. And I had looked into reopening a yarn store that I had just a couple years, um, maybe 15 years ago, and decided instead that I think that I wanted to do a podcast you know, in hopes of connecting with all of you and not only sharing my makes, but looking at maybe what you guys have going on and sharing some of that. So today, every single episode, and today, we are going to always try on this podcast to share something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. And I have so much to go over today. I just got back from two trips. And I'm going to do a recap of those on this episode, probably at the end, because I know a lot of you have heard about MDK Nashville from our other favorite podcasters. And Tom and I took a trip to Charlottesville, Virginia area and had a fantastic time. But I'm going to kind of stick that at the end. And I'm going to start with my something old. So without any further ado, this is my something old. It is the Hanna. It is the Hanna Pullover cardigan. It's by Coco Knits, and it is single. This particular um, sweater is single-stranded kid silk mohair, and I have had this sweater forever to the point where it didn't tear. I mean, you would think that the kid silk might wear thin, and I have not had one hole in all these years, but in a couple places it did look like it might be getting a little bit threadbare. And so I do not beat everything that I knit, I promise you that. But this I did. I added a few beads and um, and a couple little flowers with beads in the center. And um, I did do that to shore up a couple spots where it did look a little bit threadbare. I do wear this to yoga, and on spring days when it's a little bit chilly outside and I need just a little something over my yoga. It is really warming up here in North Carolina. So, first episode, it snowed, and now everything, the leaves are green. Um, the dogwoods are in full bloom. I am comparing notes with some of my gardening friends throughout the South here. And also noting on a couple podcasts that I follow, it's still cold and not snowy, but it's cold where they are. Here, everything is just busting out in blooms. My lilies are up, and I'll probably pop some pictures in of our garden because it is really coming to life and it's my favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite time of year. Autumn, I love autumn more and more. Um, the older I get, it just seems like I love autumn more every year. But spring is certainly a wonderful time and it's very exciting. So I'll probably pop some pictures in just because. I did want to show one other out of this yarn. Several years ago, there was a pattern out. It was called, I think it's the Ombré Cowl, and I will pop a picture of it in. But you take three different colors of mohair, you double one color, and then at some point, you add a second color and you're holding a strand of the first and the second color, and then you do just that second color doubled, and then you move into a third color. It's a great pattern. I'm going to pop it up in the and put it in the show notes. We had several in our knit group that made multiples of this cowl. I think I've made at least 3 or 4, but we all, not maybe not all of us, but multiple people in our group made single stranded because a lot of us just felt like the double stranded was too heavy. And this is my version, and I think that I'm getting ready to add the tiny tassels to the edge of it. So I'm going to report back on that because I do wear this cowl with this sweater sometimes on those chilly mornings when you know, you need just a little something extra and I have a jacket on. I do pop this cowl on, and it is single stranded. I did use the ombre pattern, but in lieu of doubling and changing colors, I just did single stranded and followed what they cast on. And so I'm going to report back on this when I do the beads and the tiny tassels, because I can't, I think that it needs just a little something else. So had it forever. But anyway, that is my other something, something old. And I have one more something old that I want to share. I have this sweater in the back. It is also Coco Knits. Got a little mohair in my nose. So I made this. It's the Gisela, Gisela. And it is also one of my most worn knits. I wore it in Nashville. I have a couple dresses. It fits perfectly over little t-shirts in spring. It's beautiful in autumn. It's probably not gonna be great under this or over this Hanna. We'll see how it goes. But I love this little sweater so much, and I do wear it all the time. So it has a little split on the sleeve, and when I made it, I made the first version out of Kid Silk Aura, and I made a very small version for the knitting store, and it was way too small for me. So when I closed Close Knit, I ended up giving that version away and started this. And I probably wear this sweater almost more than any other sweater. But when I made this, it again was too small. I went up 2 sizes, did single strand Debbie Bliss Angel. And guys, it did not, it was just still too small. So I called my friend Sharon Stetler, who is the master crocheter. And I said, Sharon, is there any way that you could add a crocheted edge to this Jazella that I've knit for myself? And what she did is just beautiful. And guys, I love it. I took a sweater that I love the fabric. It just did not have the best fit in the front. And I had a friend just add a crochet edge, and it is perfection now. I wear it all the time and enjoy it so very much, more than words can say. And the pattern is just beautiful. I will pop a picture up of the pattern, but I can't recommend this pattern enough. Coco Knits, her patterns are so well written, and everything that I've knit that is Coco Knits, I've absolutely loved. So this, again, another great sweater, Coco Knits, the Gisela, and very feminine, and I wear it all the time. So I hope you'll check that one out. And so those were my something olds. My something new, I am going to report back. Um, we went on a trip. I told you guys about the cute dress that I got in Blowing Rock and about finding the Triangle Granny by La Bien-Aimée. This is my Le Triangle Granny. I wore it in Nashville to the show with the cute, cute dress that I absolutely love and my great Buttonjar bag. Buttonjar, she is very close to me. She lives in Davidson, North Carolina, which is about 45 minutes from here, but her bags are so amazing. They are so well made. I carry her bags as handbags. They have the most beautiful fabric, all kinds of pockets. And so well made, just absolutely amazing bags. So I've got multiples of her bags, and this is the one that I carried with my Le Triangle wrap in Nashville. I did not get my edge finished before the Nashville show. I came home and got it finished, but everybody loved it. It was a huge hit, and it was a rainy, horrible, crazy. I think we had a tornado. We had a tornado watch, I think, while we were at the show, and it was damp and rain, just horrible, horrible rain, and this thing was just I don't know. It's one of I love it. It's amazing. I'm so glad I did it, and I do have another one planned for spring. But I did a single crochet edge where I told you the stitches popped, and just to kind of even that out, I did a single crocheted edge in doubled mohair, also Kid Silk Haze, and then did the little scallop that they call for. Um, in the Kid Silk Haze as well. So that, guys, it is it's amazing. It matches my sofa downstairs. And on these spring nights where it is really chilly in the evening, we sometimes open the screen door, and I've really enjoyed it because it matches our family room. So it's been really, really good to have this, and I'm so glad I made it. So that was one of my something news. I am going to also give you a little quick peek at my other toast nuts that I told you guys that I was going to make. I love them. So this was yarn that I had left over from a sweater. I did do Jeny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, and it made all the difference. The ones that I made in January, I did not use that bind off, and they are a little bit snug around my hand, like here. So I definitely cannot tell you, these are just amazing. So if you have just a little bit of any fabulous yarn, I highly recommend Leslie Friends Pattern Toast. And I see a lot more toast in my future, but that's from last episode. So I did get those done. Something new, something borrowed. So in Nashville, I was lucky enough to, through Caitlin Wedekin, one of my roommates, I had two fabulous roommates on this trip, or three. Caitlin, who I met through her podcast. She now has a new podcast called This Little Life. She is an amazing photographer and a very, very dear friend to me. So glad to get to spend time with her in Nashville. And Louise, my new friend Louise, she is an amazing knitter, and I came home and ordered a La Bien Amie book because of the sweater she had on. It'll be in the intro with the little ruffles on the front, and she had the coolest socks on. So go back to something new because I got these at in Nashville at MDK. Because of Louise's fabulous socks. And also, my other roommate was Lindsay from Lamb and Kid, and she is just a fun powerhouse of ideas. Never expected to maybe go to Flock. And I told Tom, I said, I think that after meeting Lindsay, I'm going to have to go to Lamb and Kids. So I've got more to share on that at the end of the podcast. But so through Caitlin, on this trip to Nashville, we ran into a group of ladies from Texas. And I came away, Texas, Alabama, and Georgia, their group. And I was absolutely blown away by these ladies. Everybody that I met, I came home just really thinking, I don't know, just a lot about what I want to do and how I want this podcast um, to maybe bring things to people other than patterns. Um, I don't know, just different ideas. And I, when meeting these ladies, a couple of them were big time gardeners. So you can imagine they immediately felt like my soul sisters. But one of the most amazing gals I've met in recent years, her name is Andrea, and at the after party and later in the evening, she was sharing these amazing coasters. And so my something borrowed is knit for food, and I'm actually knitting for food the knit-a-thon tomorrow, and I apologize for not getting this on here sooner. um, I had a little bit of surgery, just a little bit, but I had some Mohs surgery, and I just didn't get this podcast done because of the two trips, and then came home and had this tiny surgery. And so I did want to say, though, I borrowed her idea and signed up for Knit for Food because I was so inspired by her. And going forward, I would love for you guys to share with me anything that you guys have coming up, because that's how we find out about these things. I had heard about Knit for Food, but just have a lot going on, had already donated. And then I came home and I started thinking about it. And I started thinking, you know what, I may not get a lot in the way of donations, but I do want to tell you guys a little bit about it. So Knit for Food is a knit-a-thon. It's a 12-hour, 10 to 10, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I'm doing it tomorrow. And this is going to come out probably after the knit-a-thon, or, you know, just before. So I did want to highlight, I did take notes. I wanted to highlight that they support Feeding America, World Central Kitchen, No Kid Hungry, and Meals on Wheels. So even if you have missed the knit-a-thon, I just wanted to share for next year, or maybe just take a minute and I am going to pop my link into the show notes. And every dollar we raise for these amazing organizations counts. And last autumn, our kids lived just outside of Asheville, and they were directly affected by Hurricane Helene. They are fine, their house is fine, but it was very emotional, and it was a it was a hard time for people in our local area. Lots of people lost everything they owned, and I personally saw these organizations show up, um, and do so much for the communities. And so I have signed up, and I hope that even if we get this to you a little bit late, you guys could share with me anything coming up along those lines, because I borrowed Knit for Food from my friend Andrea, and so grateful to have met her, total soul sister, immediately, and the other ladies in that group, and my roommates. Um, so that was one of my something boards. I have two more. The other is two hats that are charitable related hat patterns. One was, it is called the, hold just a second, I want to get this exactly right. It is called the Blue Ridge Bear Paw Hat. Blue Ridge Bear Paw Hat. And I'm going to share it, and put it in the show notes. It's by Katie Menzel, Menzel. And the proceeds from this hat go to help those affected by Hurricane Helene, which is very personal to me because that happened um, right here in North Carolina where we live. It is still devastating. Tom and I, on our last lamb cuddle trip that you guys, I shared a little bit about that trip. We rode down country mountain roads that the roads are still closed, houses that we've passed for almost 40 years. We've been traveling those roads together. Were literally washed away in this hurricane. It was a horrific event in North Carolina. So again, I want to borrow from Katie the Blue Ridge Bear Paw hat and tell you guys I have knit it for Tom. I'm going to pop a picture up. He absolutely loves this hat. He loves this hat so much that every cold day he wore this hat. And I'm almost, Katie, glad that it's warming up because he wears the hat every day. And so I'm really hoping now that it's warming up that Tom will take the bear paw hat off. And but it was a great pattern. And there was a second pattern, um, Knit for Food, occurring tomorrow, for Saturday in April. The other hat was by Laura Nelkin, Nelkin. I'm going to pop it up. And it's Knit for Food, KFF. And I'm going to be knitting my Knit for Food hat tomorrow during the knit-a-thon. So I did want to pop that up. And all proceeds, I think, from that hat go directly to this Knit for Food um, organization, what they are doing the knit-a-thon for. So those were my something boards. Now, something blue, a little bit blue, but not terribly blue, because sometimes when I get blue, I just fix it and move on. So the macro sweater that I told you guys that I'm knitting by the wonderful lady in Iceland. I'm going to pop her name up because I'm not sure I can pronounce it. I started it. Several of the projects listed had doubled mohair. I got gauge in the doubled mohair, but as I started to knit it, lost some stitches. I knit mine, got it past dividing for the sleeves, tried it on, and I thought to myself, holy Hannah, I would have to live in Iceland, and I am always cold. So got gauge, knit, 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 absolutely loved it. Had already pulled it back once because I had a color in it that I didn't like. There were just multiple reasons that I pulled it back. But restarted it again, and single stranded. And I have to say, I love it so, so much more single stranded. So I'm getting ready to divide for the sleeves. I have more narrow shoulders, but then I need a little bit more room after like I divide for the sleeves. So what I did, I'm doing single stranded throughout. I started, I'll put the modifications in the show notes, but guys, I love it. I picked up a few new colors, this golden green, this bright pink, um, and added those into the mix. And I have to say, I just love it so much more than the mauve. And getting ready to this afternoon go knit with a friend, and I'm going to divide divide for the sleeves. Have tried it on multiple times with my barber cords, so I'm hoping to finish it by Easter, and I just think it's amazing. So um, that's my macro sweater. Made me a little bit blue. I've restarted twice, but sometimes that's just, it's part of my journey. So maybe you guys are those magical creatures that can just cast on and in the first swoop, get it right, move on. But in my world, there are a lot of times that I have to restart and reassess and rethink. And with that said, I'm going to share one more thing in the works. Um, it's my little granny vest. So I got the sleeves on. Um, I did mention on the last podcast that I was a little worried that um, the straps were a little bit long. It ended up that they were, so I had to um, pull them back. I have not found the ribbon. I do want to line. Um, I do want to line the straps. Hold on, it's going to be crinkly for a minute. Sorry. Um, that's the microphone. Hope you guys can hear me. I did get a little microphone. Sorry about that. Um, but I did want to say these straps, they roll just a little bit. So I do want to find some grosgrain ribbon to line the straps with. It does fit perfectly over my shoulders now. It's the exact right um, length for under my arms. I was going to do 3 sets of ties down either side, 1, 2, 3. But when I try it on, I just don't think that's enough. So I've got probably over half a skein of this Cocheron Noro left. And it made me a little bit blue having to pull the straps back, not being able to find the right ribbon to line this with yet. And I'm not loving the little ties, but guess what? I'm just going to lay it down for a minute and rethink it. And I'm thinking maybe of doing like 2-color brioche on the side. I don't know. So I'll report back. But that did make me a little bit blue, but I am loving it, proud of it, and right now I'm just moving on. So um something old, some things new. Did my some things borrowed from Andrea and Katie and Laura. They're Knit for Food and those great charities. Please let me know of any that you know of that we could share. And I've got my something blue. So now, very quickly, I'm going to move on. I know most of you probably watch all of the podcasts that I watch. And so I'm not going to go over too much about Nashville. I am going to do a very quick recap. So, my roommates were amazing. I absolutely love Caitlin. Absolutely love Caitlin Wedekin. Miss her so, so much um, on YouTube. And we are both obsessed with flowers. I have to tell, we went to Cheekwood Gardens Sunday, which was after the Saturday event. And Caitlin took a photograph of this beautiful iron. I'll put it in. Uh, She took a picture. I took the exact same picture. We stood in the exact same place to take the picture. And her picture was magic. She has a way of capturing flowers and places. Her photography is absolutely amazing. So I got to spend time with her at the Nashville event. We had another roommate, Louise, and I now have gotten out my sock patterns because I have a stack and I'm not a big sock knitter, but being around Louise, I am absolutely um, determined to get on this sock train with, I'm sure, all of you guys. And I am going to try to get my hands on a book for knitting socks and sleeves two at a time because I think that is kind of like the way I want to go with it. I talked to Louise a little bit about it, and so Louise, thank you for putting me on the sock journey. And our other roommate was Lindsay from Lamb and Kid. Lindsay is just amazing. I came home and I told Tom we have got to go to Bainbridge Island. I have got to go to Flock. So I may skip Rhinebeck and head to Flock this summer. It's right after my 60th birthday. Lindsay brought us these precious drawstring project bags from Lamb and Kid. She also brought us, hold on just a sec. She also brought us a couple yarns. This one is Birdie. I had knit with Big Birdie, but this is Birdie. And when she gave me this Birdie, I came home, and I have been wanting to do the pressed flowers kerchief. And so I thought that this yarn would be absolutely amazing with it. Thank you, Lindsay. And it called for a high contrast. So I went on to Lamb and Kid's website and I ordered, let's see. Oh, it's in my lap. I ordered this. It's crazy. It's crazy. I ordered this as my contrast for my pressed flowers kerchief. And I'm really excited to get that started. So, Lindsay, thank you so, so much. I cannot wait. I hope that it works out, that I get to go this summer. So, we are researching that now. But I heard great things about Flock, and I just think I have to go to Lamb and Kid because it just looks like the most amazing yarn shop. So, with that said, another quick thing about Lamb and Kid. Last year, about right after Rhinebeck, a year and a half ago, I knit Lopi Love. And I'm going to pop a picture of that up. I knit Lopi Love, and like I said, I'm always the one that can take a basic, wonderful pattern and do one little thing wrong. And I think what I did was I added a couple extra short rows by accident on this Lopi Love. And when I tried the Lopi Love on, they had a sample at Rhinebeck of this sweater. And I tried it on, and it had like a big kind of like lump on the back. So I ripped the entire thing out. I'm a big ripper. Tom says I rip out more than I knit. I tell him all the time that is absolutely not possible. He still doesn't believe me, but I knit out of Big Birdie, the Lopi Love. Um, Ripped it completely out. So I have all of this Big Birdie. So it's Aran weight. It is absolutely squishy, wonderful yumminess. And so I wanted to say I would love some input. Have any of you knit with the Big Birdie? And if you have, it's Aran. And I think it's like a brush suri. I'm not even sure. Let's see what let me see what the content is. It's 79% alpaca, 21% silk, Aran weight, 174 yards. But I'm wondering if you guys have knit with anything like it, because anybody that has, if you in the comments can give me an idea for Aran weight, maybe a little colorwork sweater. I'm probably going to order another color, maybe. I don't know. I have enough to do a short sleeve sweater, but I would love ideas on what I could knit with this Aran weight brush suri Big Birdie. So leave me a comment, and if you leave me a comment with an idea, um, you'll go into a or a gift item, and we do have winners. I'll do that at the end. Um, so um, that was that, and loved my roommates. We went shopping the first day. Met some great gals from Texas, Alabama, and Georgia. Just absolutely fell in love with that group of ladies and other people that we met along the way. I still have stitches in from my surgery. Um, it was really, really incredible to meet all of these smart, amazing women. I was just absolutely blown away by the women and men that I met on this trip. Uh, so we went into the event. We're standing in line. They had this great like overhang. I'm going to pop up a picture where you stood in line. It was torrential rain. Um, and I looked over and there was Kristen from Where We Knit. She's a new podcaster. If you guys have not checked her out, she is absolutely incredible. The sweaters that she's knitting, and she's a teacher. She is an instructor of knitting at her local yarn store in Minnesota. And there she was standing in line with one of her best friends who just was an amazing human being too. Um, Got to meet them. So that was a real highlight for me because I really think a lot of her, and you should totally check out her podcast. We went in, and one of the very first booths that I visited was my friend Doodle Knitter that used to own Black Mountain Yarn Store. Um, she has a very, very close friend that owns Yarn Birds, and it is an outfitted like Winnebago that she curates all of these fabulous yarns and gift items. I can't show you some of them because that I got from her, but I finally got to meet Robin from Yarn Birds and got to go in her fabulous magical yarn bus. It was just so incredible to meet her. She's just as warm and lovely and beautiful in person as she is on those Friday lives. She does a Friday, I think every Friday she does like a live on Instagram. So she's an amazing person that maybe take time to check her out. I did get this yarn from her. It's Le Garçon. It is, I love this description. It is 55% baby alpaca, 18% fine merino wool, 17% mulberry silk, 10% yak, 100% dreamy. So I got these colors, and I may end up having to order more because I am between. I think I'm going to pop up the pattern. There's two patterns that I'm considering. One is by the designer in Iceland, and I think that I'm leaning towards that. So I'll probably have to contact Robin at Yarnbirds and order more of these colors. And the other was the lady finger sweater. Um, so I'm kind of waffling between those two patterns, but I did get this. I have a second of this soft kind of blue green color. So um, that was another fabulous something new, and got to meet Robin. So that just made my trip. Another thing that I picked up was I ran into Mabel, and a year and a half ago at Rainback, Mabel was there. She does takes antique quilts, and she makes these knit bags, little accessories. She does coats. She does just all kinds of incredible things with antique quilts. And I splurged because a year and a half ago, I bought multiple things and gave them all away as gifts and didn't keep anything for myself. And so I bought like a little tiny needle case and a little tiny project bag. Um, and I'm so glad that I ran into her again, and I'm a huge fan of her. So that was another something I picked up. I'm so mad at myself. This was part of my merch. It was a little smashed knitting needle for my. I have a knitting bag. I may show that on my next episode. During COVID, I made all these little needle cases, and I collect little things to hang on it. And my merch was a pin from the event. So, um, last but not least, we walked in, and I am a huge Alabama Shannon fan. I have three skirts. Um, let's see, I've got four skirts. One I finished last that's Alabama Shannon inspired. I do order her jersey cotton. So if you don't know about Alabama Shannon, there are so many great videos on YouTube about Natalie Shannon. She went to school in New York. I want to say that she went to either NYU or Pratt. I can't remember. Um, but I might get the story a little bit wrong, but because I've watched, I'm absolutely um, gobsmacked by everything this woman creates. She went home to Alabama. They have a huge business called Alabama Shannon. She has a whole line of books on hand stitching. They have a club now that I think you pay just over $300. You get access to all of the Alabama Shannon patterns. Um, I think you get discounts on classes. It's just, you should totally look it up if you don't know about it. But I'm Alabama Shannon obsessed. So last summer, I finished this. This was my first skirt, and it's not perfect because it was my first attempt. It's doubled jersey cotton, and I created that little design and beaded it up, and I wore it all last summer. And I have three other ones in the works. I have one that I want to finish by my 60th birthday. I hope I get it done. I'm really sorry about the microphone. I'm just trying to work all this out. So here's another one that I am working on that I created the design, but Alabama Shannon, she has all of these stencils. And look her up on Pinterest or YouTube has all kinds of videos. And I have one that is falling leaves, and I have one new for spring that I'm just doing like a little stitching and hand applique on top of. So I got to meet Natalie Shannon, and it just absolutely was the highlight, one of the highlights of my trip. So I highly recommend that you look up Alabama Shannon, and I hope that you're as inspired by her and her story, how she pays fair living wages. Um, I think that her full-time employees all have health benefits. She took a sleepy town and revived it and created this beautiful industry of an artist that took her artistry and created a viable business that is changing the world. So I hope you check her out. Um, Came home, worked in my yard and at our community garden for several days after my trip to um, Nashville. Got sick as a pup and ended up with a really bad sinus kind of allergy thing, and um, headed out the door a week after getting home from Nashville with Tom, still sick, but got much better over the next couple days. Went to the Charlottesville, Virginia area, stayed in a yurt. There was a beautiful lake. We walked around the lake every night. We had great food, from hometown barbecue to just really, really fine meals right outside of Charlottesville, and visited some really great yarn stores. So my favorite, favorite, I had a couple, but one was in this tiny little town just outside of Charlottesville. And we walked in, and this store absolutely blew my mind. It was just full, packed full of yarn, brands that we love and recognize. Um, Also, tons of local yarn, which I love to buy. Um, Local yarns when I go to different yarn stores. And so I do want to share that Knitwit in Pottersville was a really, really wonderful experience. And I highly recommend this shop. Um, I met an absolutely amazing lady at the shop, and it was really fun because she had watched the podcast. We had so much to talk about. We talked about Leslie Friend. We talked about the Toastmats. We talked about the the I think it the shrug that's is it a friend to knit with? It's the shrug that Leslie Friend did, that I showed. I think second podcast, I think I shared that. How I'm going to make my next one a little bit longer with a split side seam. Um, we just had so much in common and had so much fun. And Lucy, the person working in the shop, was just absolutely wonderful. She helped me pick yarn. She showed me all of the local things that they carry, and I was absolutely amazed at what all this wonderful shop owner had pulled together, to create this magical, wonderful place that I really enjoyed so much. I hated to leave. I stayed over an hour and a half. So I did want to share. I'm going to do the pressed flower shawl. I'm late to the party. Um, But this Cedar View Farm was one of my favorites that I picked up. And I came home and dove through my stash. And some of the pressed flowered shawls have like an outer band and then an inner. And so I came home and dove through my stash and found these two um, that I think I'm going to mix with mine. So I'm not sure how that's all going to work out, but that's in the works. And the second shop that we visited was in Charlottesville. Tom and I spent a whole day in Charlottesville. We went to UVA, visited the quad. He's an architect, and we went to two yarn shops and had great charcuterie at a couple wine bars, and that was a blast. It was just a really fun trip. Magpie Fiber was a beautiful store. So I'm going to pop up a couple pictures of the store. They had the nicest young girl working at the store, and she helped me pick baby yarn. They had all of those bright and shiny brands, all of the merchandise that we love. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful yarn store. Uh, I cannot say enough about our experiences on visiting these shops, that you walk in and you literally feel like you're at home. Um, it kind of is. Um, I don't know. I think we are kind of a unique community as knitters and makers, crocheters. It is wonderful to go into these stores where you feel welcomed, and I certainly felt that way at both of these stores. So that was my recap of the trip. We do have two winners. So my first winner I want to share um, was from our subscribers, and we did a random drawing, and we have the first drawing from subscribers. The winner was Rachel, Weissenstein. Rachel, if you can just message me and let me know, I'm going to give you a couple choices on what your gift items can be that I can send to you. And the Happy Birthday Mom gift drawing, random drawing, was Ann Ball, 5249. So if you guys can just contact me and let me know, here are your choices. So with it being spring, I thought it might be fun to offer, we have a line of notepads. So you can either, I'm going to give you two choices. There's two packs that you can choose from. So one would be two notepads and a bookmark. So we have the Hummingbird Hibiscus notepad, 50 count, garden house. It's beautiful for spring. Might be a perfect Mother's Day gift for somebody. Also, there's the hyacinth bulb in the little glass dish. It is also 50 count notepad. And then there's a bookmark with the hummingbird. So you can either choose that 3-pack, or we also have new notepads coming out. And so this one is Got Yarn. It has, I don't know if you can see his face. I just love his face. It says Got Yarn. So this comes in a 50 count, 50 page notepad packaged for you, or a multi-pack of our new little gift tags with him. And I love this little guy. He was my logo at Close Knit, and his face still does me in. We also have the Got Yarn. It's a bookmark, and it has a ruler on the back. So that's the other 3 packs. So you can either choose the sheep pack or the spring pack in Garden House, and you guys just let me know. And our new drawing, remember, is if you have any ideas on Aran weight patterns that you could share with me, we'll do a random drawing to for this episode. Um, and new merchandise coming out in the next month. So I hope you guys are doing well. Um, I really appreciate you tuning in. I am so grateful. Again, one person that I forgot to mention that I met at the event in Nashville was Jen Geigley and her best friend Erica. And I wanted to say that she is just as lovely and just salt of the earth, just a wonderful person, just as she appears to be um, on her podcast. And I was so lucky to meet them. So, overall, I've had just an um, amazing almost month of 2 great trips, a horrible cold, Mohs surgery on my forehead, and tomorrow I'm going to knit with a friend this afternoon, and tomorrow I knit for food. I hope you guys will look into those charitable organizations, and I really appreciate you being here. And I apologize for the loud rattle rattle on the microphone. I'm living and learning over here. And I hope to see you on the next episode. So have a great month, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.